From Bolero, Kenner, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you high school bowling. This afternoon, it's a battle of unbeatens from the New Orleans region as the Brother Martin Crusaders take on the Jesuit Blue Jays. And a pleasant good afternoon to you. Ken Trahan, joined by Lenny Van Gilder of Crescent City Sports, as we are pleased to bring you our first bowling stream of the season. And, of course, we'll have state championships here on Crescent City Sports as well, courtesy of the LHSAA, which we deeply appreciate, the continued partnership that we enjoy. And today, we have the two top teams in Division I in this area, arguably in the state. Meeting between Brother Martin Crusaders and the Jesuit Blue Jays. Lenny, great to have you with us. And, of course, this has been a great matchup for several years. Brother Martin's had the better of this. Jesuit has always been lurking and is always good enough. And sooner or later, you get the feeling they're going to break through because they have just a quality, consistent program, don't they?
Yeah, they beat Brother Martin in 2023 in the regular season. It was an early match in the regular season. When you saw the schedule come out, Ken, and this match was late in the year, in the last couple of weeks, you had an idea that this could mean something. Now, business had to be taken care of with three really good teams based on average out of the New Orleans region, and that's Brother Martin, Jesuit, and Archbishop Rummel. All heavily experienced teams with a lot of returnees. And, Brother Martin beat Rummel, Jesuit beat Rummel in the regular season, so that has set the stage for what we have here. They're all going to the playoffs, all three of those teams. Possibly we get a fourth team from the New Orleans region as well. We'll see how it plays out. But these teams right now, they're sitting at 2 and 3 in the power rankings in Division I in Louisiana, both behind number 1 Captain Shreve. And bowling's a unique sport. It's just like every other sport. Your power rankings are calculated as you see the power rankings in boys co-ed Division I there. It's Captain Shreve at number 1, followed by Jesuit, Brother Martin, Slidell, and Alexandria. Those are the 5 unbeaten teams in Division I in Louisiana. When we get to the end of the day, of course, barring a tie in this match, and those can happen, there would be 4. So where will things shake out here? There's a chance that the winner of this match could actually leap Captain Shreve and go up to number 1. Will it stay that way? That remains to be seen. I don't think the loser of this match drops any further than maybe that 5th spot behind those other 2 unbeatens at this point. And they may not even drop below Alexandria because there's a little bit of a gap in there. They could stay as high as number 4.
A lot of good teams with good traditions lurking, like Central Lafourche, like Denham Springs, Dutchtown, and Rummel, all of whom are fully capable, as we know from years past.
Denham Springs, of course, won the state championship a year ago.
So we have that dynamic in place as well, but there's no question that these are 2 of the best teams. Look, you saw Slidell. Slidell's a terrific team with their team average is pretty proficient. Speaking of which, when we look at this matchup here today, Jesuit definitely top-heavy when it comes to their top bowlers. They have an edge in the top 3 spots. As always, there's 2 different pits. When you look at the 2 pits,
right. You see it on your screen there. All 4 lanes that are going to be in action. Yeah, that's the right pair, where Jesuit does have the edge at 4, 5, and 6. And on the left pair, Jesuit's got a slight edge at number 3, but Brother Martin has the edge at number 1 and number 2. And as you look at cumulative average for your starting lineup here, it's actually basically a dead heat with the one change that Todd Bourgeois, the Jesuit coach, made based on what he saw in practice earlier this week. He's going to go with Jack Lusto at number 1 instead of his number 1 in the match against East Ascension on Tuesday, and that is
Joseph
Capriccio.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he's going to, at least at the outset, start. Of course, they can make substitutions after every game in this, but Lusto will start. So basically, it's a dead heat in terms of team averages. Both of these teams just a tick under 1,200 combined for the 6 bowlers in their starting lineups today.
Well, you mentioned Jesuit was able to win a match against Brother Martin 2 years ago, and that's really important because you have to gain the confidence to be able to know that you can beat Team Brother Martin's been the dominant local program in the area for many years and the dominant team in the state overall, even though they lost in the title match a year ago. So the mental aspect of it certainly comes into play. And when you talk about these 2 programs, you have to give credit to both coaches because They're outstanding at what they do. They know the sport extremely well. They teach it, and they help their players. And that would be Bruce Simbert and Brother Martin, of course, Todd Bourgeois, Jesuit. These are really good people.
And both of these guys are alma maters of the teams that they coach. So they certainly are very loyal to their schools and to their programs, and they've been doing this for a long time. And that's the thing. The one word you mentioned in there is coach. A lot of these programs around the state, maybe you've got somebody who moderates, who works from a faculty perspective, but doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of the game, of the equipment, everything you need to know. Both of these guys are not only excellent coaches, they're excellent bowlers. They know the equipment. They know the things that need to happen as the lanes transition. They know about ball changes and about movements on the lane that you need to be able to pass on to your young men to be able to make good decisions.
Bolero Lanes here in Kenner. And to just be specific, we can say that it's a
higher scoring house. Yeah, higher scoring house than perhaps Colonial Lanes. West Side Lanes is a good scoring house. Some of the other ones in the area, like if they go bowl a match up in Hammond and Tangi Lanes, those are certainly high scoring as well. But there could be some scores shot here. I remember when these two teams faced off. It was 5 years ago, right before everything shut down for COVID. They bowled a regular season match here in 2020, and it was the highest scoring match that we've ever seen in Louisiana high school bowling. Brother Martin shot a state record. It still stands 40-12. Jesuit shot 37-70 in that match and set a school record in the process. Oh, by the way, you mentioned that match against East Ascension, which was huge. East Ascension was previously unbeaten. They went into their house in Gonzales, won the match on Tuesday, 18.5 to 8.5, and they shot 38-30 in that match. That is the highest three-game series by a team in the state this year.
And that is, of course, where the state tournament is, which is a precursor and also a pretty good predictor for Jesuit, knowing that they can score well.
No question about it. And of course, we get set here as practice balls wrapping up. Let's take a look at the format for those of you who have not watched high school bowling before. It is a 27-point match, so the object is to get to 14 points to win. We'll bowl 3 games with a 6-player lineup spread out across 2 pairs of lanes. Coaches don't necessarily, they get to pick the 6 bowlers, but they don't get to pick the order. It's determined by their season average. The bowlers are bowling a match against the bowler across from them, number 1 against number 1, 2 against 2, and so on. So there's 27 possible points, 18 based on the individual matches. Each game, the team total is worth 2 points. And then what we call super total, if you will, the 3-game total pins is worth another 3 points. So that's how you get to 27. So the magic number to get to is 14. So this year, Brother Martin is 11-0. They've gotten to the 3rd game with the match still not clinched, a grand total of 1 time. They have clinched a match in 2 games in 10 of the 11 matches. Meanwhile, Jesuit has been in some tighter matches. That's going to be one thing to watch as we get to the latter stages of this match, because you figure this, based on the numbers, should be very close. How do these teams respond in the 3rd game? Jesuit has been in tight matches. When they bowled Rummel, it was 8-8 after 2. You had a chance to see all of that one. When they bowled Holy Cross a couple of weeks ago out here, they were actually down 9-7 going into the last game, had to rally to win that one. And then the match on Tuesday against East Ascension was 9.5 to 6.5, and it could have very easily, if not for a couple of shots, very easily been 8-8 going into the final game. So that's kind of what you're looking at when we get there. Of course, we got a long way to go to get to Game 3, but one thing to keep an eye on as we do approach that point.
Battle tested, and that certainly will come into play in a close match. Now, the other thing we'll watch for is you'll see in bowling all the time. You'll see one-handed bowlers, and you will see two-handed bowlers. And I know some people like it a lot. Some people don't like it very much. It is part of the game, and it's legal, and it's really taken root on the local level, not just here, but around the country.
Yeah.
You see more and more that are two-handed bowlers. And I guess the biggest thing there is how you perceive it as to whether you feel like it's an advantage.
It's part of the game now. Look, what do we see? We see things trickle down from the pros to college to high schools in a lot of sport. A lot of kids maybe grew up, and if they watched pro bowling, they saw Jason Belmonte when they were kids, and they adapted that style. And obviously there's a lot more two-handers on the Pro Tour now that, since Belmo had a lot of success. And then you see what's happened here. You're going to see in the starting lineup today no fewer than 6 two-handers in this lineup. So it is part of it, and we will go from there.
Practice has concluded, so we're getting set for the start. Again, 6 bowlers on each team. It's match play. Each individual match counts as a point. The top average bowler bowls against the top average bowler on the opposing team. Second highest, third highest, fourth highest, fifth highest, sixth highest in that order. And they go 1 through 6 in terms of how they line up. Lowest average bowlers first on the low pair. Highest average on the high pair, as Lenny mentioned. And again, each match worth a point. Then for each game, there are 2 bonus points for whoever wins total pins. And then when it's concluded, the team that wins overall total pins gets 3 points. So the maximum number to win a match, 14.
Yeah, that is the magic number. You see it right there on your screen. You'll see it throughout as a reminder as we get set to go here. So let's give you these lineups, Ken. Brother Martin is the visitor here at Bolero. Nick Bruno bowled very well yesterday. He's going to get the start today in the number 1 spot. Was very good yesterday. Had a 247 last game in their match against Crescent City. Blake A. Barrett 2, Tyler Nunez at 3, Bo Buffkin, Sam Vollenweider, the defending state singles champ, and Peyton Averill. That's the 1 through 6 for Brother Martin. For Jesuit, it will be Jack Lusto at 1, Jacob Rudloff at 2, Nicholas Womble at 3, Joseph Anderson at 4, who was actually 6 a year ago. Grant Gehring is at 5, and Jonathan Cho is at 6. A very experienced Jesuit team that has 8 seniors on its roster out of its 10-man lineup. Brother Martin's got 4 seniors. They have the 3 of them are the 4, 5, 6 bowlers that you'll see on the right side.
And much to Lenny's pleasure, Jesuit has a good left-handed bowler who's on the lane right now.
There you go. 56. Joseph Anderson will get this thing started for us.
Underway, and in good fashion. Nice shot by Anderson, and the reaction from the Jesuit crowd on hand. Good crowd forming, as you might imagine, for these 2 outstanding programs. That was Brother Martin's 4 bowler, Bo Buffkin. He is a, I don't want to say all or nothing, but he's an all guy a lot. Yeah, when he hits, he hits.
Yep, exactly.
He goes big a lot. So we're underway. Now you get the action on the low pair as well. And Jesuit's number 1 bowler with a really nice shot to get things started. That is Lusto.
Yes.
Jack Lusto. So a good start there for the Blue Jays. Brother Martin's number 1. Nick Bruno on the lane as well. And he's a pretty interesting guy. He's a 2-sport guy, right?
Yep. Yeah, you see some 2-sport guys at different things.
And he's right.
Football and bowling, that's different.
And you don't see that very often.
No, you don't. And not just football. Maybe you get a guy who's like, I remember, there was a guy at De La Salle who ended up being a wide receiver and a deep snapper. Nick's an offensive lineman.
Well, the one I remember is the kid actually had to leave after 2 games because he was a pitcher on the Rummel baseball team, Gode.
Oh, sure.
You remember him?
Yep. And those are overlapping seasons.
Where did he go? He had to go. The baseball team starts. Like, okay. But that's the beauty of high school, and I love the overall experience of guys playing more than one sport, and girls as well. That's a good shot. Ripping the 10-pin. Grant Gehring, good player. He's smooth and has a nice release. 2-hand style. Get a chance to watch these teams pretty often, so we have pretty good knowledge of these particular bowlers, and both returning so many players from a year ago, and it doesn't make the 10-pin. That's one thing that Brother Martin has really separated itself from the pack by and large, is the ability to make spares more consistently, and that is so important.
Have to be able to do that, and you're right. That is something that does matter, as Nunez gets things started with a strike over on lane 53.
Just a sophomore, younger brother Jack, who was an excellent player. Here's Cho, and couldn't kick the 7-pin out. Cho could be the best player in the area. He's one of the top 2 or 3.
No doubt. He will be in contention. He made the finals of the state championship a year ago. Got in that step ladder, got knocked out in the first round, and of course Sam Vollenweider. He shot a 300 in the qualifying for singles. Was the 2 seed. Won his second match, got to the finals, and then won an individual state title. And that was a little bit of a bounce back for that Brother Martin program after losing the team title the day before in Gonzales.
Even though Cho is a 2-hander, he's got just a really beautiful releases. And I don't mean to demean him by saying even though. He does have a beautiful
no doubt.
release. In fact, if you watch this league, as Anderson makes it 2 in a row, you see Cho and you see the Linker, who bowls for Rummel. Both of them have, you really don't even hear the ball when it's set down. They're just very, very good releases. But the key to release is the release point being consistent.
Right. If you look, whatever it is that you do. You throw it one-handed, you throw it two-handed, you throw it left-handed, you throw it right-handed, you throw it granny style. I don't care what it is that you do. If you can repeat the same thing, hitting the same spot over and over again, that's the big thing. We had a chance to, chat earlier with Miss Betty Chen, who's out here today in the front row. She has worked with so many of these young men for the last few years.
Bouncing back after missing a 10-pin, Gary with a strike. After we saw Hebert strike for Brother Martin, and there's another strike for the Crusaders.
Yep. 3 strikes on lane 54 there. So they got a couple of doubles working on the low side at this point.
And again, if you handicap this, you'd say maybe a slight edge Brother Martin on the low side, maybe a slight edge Jesuit on the high side.
Exactly. And how does it all balance out? When Jesuit won the match 2 years ago at Colonial, the difference was the low side. And it was early in the season. There's a strike there for Avril.
I want you to comment on Avril because, just to interrupt, I want you to comment because he is the ultimate traditional player.
He is, and let me say this. He's the most improved bowler in this area, and it's not even close. He had the 7th highest average on this team a year ago, and he's leapfrogged everybody to move into the 6th spot.
And what I mean by traditional, not only is he one-handed, but he's up the boards.
Yep, he's up the boards. He's not crossing a lot of boards yet.
And Anderson does the same from the left side, by the way. And flat 7-pin, good shot, though, on a double. Unable to get the 3-bagger. He's going to keep the ball in play. Again, that's what the down-the-boards guys do. They're going to keep it in play all day. Maybe not as much power.
Yeah, and you look at Sam Vollenweider there. He's a two-hander, but he's more of a guy. He doesn't cross a lot of boards like a lot of these two-handers that you see. He's more of the up-the-boards kind of player.
Anderson converts to 7. You like seeing that? As a left-hander, I know you can relate to that.
Well, maybe not, but
what are you trying to say, man?
I wasn't a very good shooter at the 7-pin. That's what I was saying.
Understood. A little bit high there. As we've reached the 3rd frame on both pairs, and once we get to the 5th frame, we'll set the numbers for you and let you know how this is unfolding. Things are static until then, really change and they can change pretty quickly in the 9th and 10th frame as well.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, while we have a moment, let's take you to today's coverage on Crescent City Sports, brought to you by Visit Kenner. From the river to the lake, Kenner has it all. And coming up March 28th through 30th, it's the 23rd annual Festa Italiana in Rivertown with live music, food, crafts, and more. Go to visitkenner.us for more information. Our thanks to Carolyn Barrett and the entire team, Visit Kenner, and the city of Kenner, for that matter. Of course, we are in Kenner today, here on Williams Boulevard, and we're both Kenner residents, so it was a long trip. That's it. We live in Kenner.
We're here. Yeah, that's it. And we love it. Great place. We are very grateful to Carolyn and the entire organization. Grateful as well to Brendan Dupuy and everybody here at Bolero for having us here
no
today.
doubt about it. And by the way, Carolyn's on the mend. Had an emergency surgery a couple weeks ago, but glad to hear she is doing better, has got cleared by her doctor, so all the best to her.
Great to have Brother Martin, Athletic Director Mark Wisniewski here today, a dear friend. And David Morrow would be here. He normally is. Jesuit Athletic Director, another great friend, but want to send out prayers to David's family. His mother right now has been hospitalized, and we want to send out our prayers to the Morrow family, wonderful people and friends. There's that good release. There's that good result.
Great shot
by Cho.
Yeah, and Cho was a guy in that match 2 years ago. He was just starting to come into his own, and I think he was bowling on the left side in that match at that point, and shot a big series, and that was a big thing. Jesuit swept the left side that day, and that was a big factor.
Buffkin, a little bit too much. When I say he grabbed it a little bit too much, what I mean by grab it is you rotate over a little bit too much. You get too much of it, and it hooks early. He hooks it anyway. Anderson has filled the 1-2 pocket consistently.
You see over on lane 54 there, Womble with a split, leaving the 4-6-7. So
after he had doubled.
Brother Martin's got a pretty strong lead right now at 2 and at 3.
Yeah, we're in the 4th frame, so it's early, but certainly unfolding. Kind of like we said, Brother Martin the edge on a low pair, Jesuit a slight edge on the high pair as we speak. You know, Brother Martin's Sam Vollenweider.
Talk about a guy who's been busy, okay? It's, look, it's bowling season. It's also been parade season. Sam is the drum major for the Brother Martin band. So he's had to balance things quite a bit between bowling and band.
There's a nice strike by Bruno for Brother Martin. Yep. So I guess what you're trying to say is he'd like to strike up a good tune here today.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
I see what you did there.
Do you know which instrument he prefers, even though he's just a drum major?
He's got to like them all, right?
I got to think. Perfect shot. Again, right up the boards.
Yep.
When he lets it go, you think he's pulled it, but no, that's his stroke. He's right there in a 1-3 consistently.
And that's the thing. The consistency of his game is much better this year. That is what has allowed him to make this jump. He was a 185, 190 average bowler, and now at 214. He's moved into that spot. Reminds me a lot of what happened a couple of years back with Ashton Catalanato, who ended up being the anchor on this Brother Martin team. Made a big jump in his senior year.
Joe continues to rip the pocket. He got tapped in the first for him, but he hadn't been tapped since.
No. 3 in a row, and he's got a 20-pin lead in the match at 6.
His demeanor always a pleasure. He smiles when he bowls, and comes back and looks that way. And just one of those guys you always enjoy watching. A double for Jesuit at number 2. Certainly helps there. It calls on a low pair. That's Jacob Riloff. That's good spare. Again, you got to watch. The spares can separate, make a difference. Anderson's hit the pocket every time and does again. And his demeanor is interesting, too, because he never changes the way he kind of like, shucks, it's all good.
He bowled a big series in this match a year ago out here. He shot over 700. And again, he was in the 6th spot last year. And I don't think it's as much as he's bowled that much worse, but Gehring and Cho have made jumps this year as well.
Nicholas Womble bounced back with a strike, but now at number 3 for Brother Martin, Tyler Nunez has 4 in a row. Yeah. So there's your first start alert, if you will. First 4. There's a beautiful cover.
Yep. Vollenweider covers the washout. The 1-2-4-10 did exactly what you want to do. You want to hit the head pin to the left, send it over towards the 10 pin. He knocked it off the wall and got the 10 out.
Grant Gehring gets it in the oil.
It stayed in the oil.
You can tell.
Deep, got a little bit too deep there and just got caught it, and you see it skid, and he left the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. That's the
very difficult spare. I mean, very difficult.
The bucket with the extra piece of chicken.
The bucket, exactly. The bucket's hard enough, buddy. Enough said.
For his sake, he was on a strike, so he didn't lose any pin count there on a spare.
2 ways to make it: hook it and catch the 2-5 perfectly, or to go past it slightly. But a lot of ways to miss it, I'll tell you that. Just like that. So, I mean, it's such a hard spare.
It is. Trying to cover all those pins. It's something you got a little extra rotation, and 2 chopped off the 5 there. So that at number 5, Vollenweider with that big conversion has a 27-pin lead at 5.
Yeah, we'll update everything after 5. The low pair still just started the 5th frame, so. But Brother Martin with a slight lead overall right now, we can say that. Nice shot by Cho. Continues to pound the pocket.
Yeah. And he has, you watch his game, he's got interest in bowling at the collegiate level. There's not the opportunities for the men as you see as the women. As Nunez makes it 5 in a row on 53.
Nunez keeps it going. That's what I was waiting to point out. Yeah. So he's got the first 5, and there's Buffkin with a double. Jesuit by 36 on the high pair through 5 frames. We said we'd update you through 5.
Yeah.
Low pair, Brother Martin's got a definitive edge, and they're not through the 5th yet, but they will be shortly.
Yeah. And you go match by match at that point. Brother Martin's up at 1. 2 is close at this point, but a slight edge to Brother Martin. Of course, they've got the edge at 3 at this point with
Anderson
with the front
strike.
5.
He's hit the pocket every time.
Jesuit has the edge at 4 and 6 on the right side, but it is Brother Martin for the moment at 5, although Vollenweider will have to cover this baby split here, the 3-10.
He had a tough spare his last time, and he's back up there again. He wastes no time. He always has ball in hand and is on the approach. And this time he cannot
get it. Couldn't get it yet. That's right what you want to do with it, but got a little bit too much of the 3, and it didn't deflect enough into the 10.
Still up by 14. Lead reduced. There's a nice shot by Gehring. He's had a couple opens, but he's in that match with his strike ability, no doubt.
No doubt.
Averil up the boards has been good. Not this time.
Yep. That's a little bit too much out in front that time. The 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, also known as the Greek Church.
Correct. A solid 10-pin Really good shot, and unfortunately not carrying for Jesuits' number 1 player, Jack Lusto.
How about this lineup
And
move?
Show gets another.
Show has 5 in a row after the spare, but
Jesuits got a lot of strikes
what
going
Bruno
on.
has done it 1 thus far. Wow.
Nice shot.
Averill got 4 of the 5 there.
Here's Bruno again on 55, and he wires it. He has a triple in the 1 spot, creating some space between him and his competitor. Buffkin rips one. He's got a triple. Strikes aplenty.
Yeah. And the thing you got to remember is, we talked about the 6 individual matches. Even if you're out of your match, you got to keep in mind what the whole total pin situation is, not just for the game, but for the match.
Anderson's had everything in the 1-2, and he's done it again.
Oh, wow.
That's a strange leave right
there.
there.
The 5 pin, and it was one of the, it's just, it didn't get up to the pocket strong enough. It looked like it could have been a wall shot, but it didn't.
Messenger just flew right by it.
Yeah.
Nice shot here. So back on is Vollenweider. Still in the lead in his match.
All right, now lane 54, you see Tyler Nunez getting up at the front 5.
And there's a trip-out triple for Jesuit at the number 2 spot for Jacob Rudloff.
Stuffed 6 in a row now.
Dang, he's halfway there.
And I was going to start to make the point here, Ken. Already this year in the state of Louisiana, we have had in high school bowling 6 300 games.
And we've seen some of them here.
Yeah, and they've all basically been in southeast Louisiana. I mean, you've had now 3 at Westside, 2 by Shaw and 1 by Patrick Taylor. We've had 1 here by Rummel's Anthony Linker in the match against Jesuit a few weeks back, and then there's been 2 down in the Homa area, Creole Lanes, actually in the same week. 1 by Central Lafourche, 1 by H.L. Bourgeois. So 6 already. That is a record for a high school season.
Well, that's the second solid 10 he has. He's going to have to think about the equipment, perhaps.
Yeah,
it looks like urethane.
I think it's going long.
It is. I think that I was just about to point out, as I said, I think that's urethane he's throwing, and just the surface of the ball, reactive resin is going to snap harder. Urethane will go down the boards for you, just like you just saw, but will not carry as well if you're playing the boards.
That's a good-looking shot. Got the 10-pin with the Messenger.
4 in a row
for Bruno. And a chop spare. That is a huge lead at 1. Yeah.
Opening up things on the low pair, and that's huge.
Right.
They've got a big lead.
Jesuit has rallied to take a small lead at 2 right now, but they've got big leads at 1 and 3.
Huge.
So as you think about total there.
Pins are big.
Yeah. No matter what happens
they're
on the
up
right
by,
side.
Jesuit's up by over 100. I mean, Brother Martin's up by over 100 pins on the low pair right now.
Right. Jesuit
Whereas
is up.
Jesuit's lead is about 50 or 60 on the high pair, but really more like 50 depending on this shot by Jonathan Cho.
That's right there, except it jumped, and wow. He broke up. He broke up the big 4. It was high.
My ball really reacted more than I thought. But he gets the carry.
Yeah, big shot here for Hebert, who delivers, and he takes the lead at number 2. So now Brother Martin leading
all 3.
in all 3 matches on the low side. And we focus on lane 53 with Nunez working on 6 in a row.
So it's damage control on the low pair for Jesuit right now. Yeah. And on the high pair, it's Jesuit trying to distance itself some. That's kind of the summation right now. And there's another shot by Anderson. Anderson's hit the pocket every time.
Here's Nunez.
Oh.
High, 3-6.
Little high, give him a round of applause. He had the first 6, put his team in great shape. Buffkin just trying to get 2 here, and does. That's wise. Never concede pins. Never. You know, when you can get the count, you get it.
Nunez converts, by the way. Mom Shelley celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday, Shelley. Blessings to you. Maybe someone's trying to give you a gift there, right? Still could.
Vollenweider with a big double right there, and that extends that lead.
Yeah. 24 up now. So, and Gehring, the slightly higher average bowler, just not having a very good game.
Yeah.
He's been tapped a couple of times. I think equipment.
Struggling on the right lane, but he's hit the left lane every time.
I think it's equipment, Lenny. He can't carry.
Yeah,
he's not carrying at all. I got to think you got to make a change here. But then just look at the 9 counts. Okay, they're all over the sheet. He can't carry.
Right, but you see there, and you can see the monitors up at the top of the screen there. But he struck in the 2nd, 4th, 6th. Now that was a flat 10. That wasn't the shot you wanted. But he's had a hard time connecting on the right lane. Now he is finishing on the left.
And you really need him. Because right now he's losing his match, and he's Unless things change dramatically, he's going to drop his match.
He's one of those guys, though, that can, like, turn it on in a moment's notice.
Oh, no doubt. He's a strike thrower.
Match against Hammond earlier this year. He had the front 10 and shot 289.
Here's Bruno going for 5 in a row in the 1 spot. Good release. Ooh, good shot off the 10 pin.
Just didn't get the angle into the pocket, but no, he's been right there, and that's one thing. Bruce Himbert has obviously done this a long time. And you talk about pushing the right button. Sometimes you know what it is that you're looking at and you're seeing is Cho.
7 in a row. He is again. That is huge because you're talking about pins. He's going to win his match. There's no doubt about that. They're going to win at number 4 as well.
Yeah.
But that's the only 2 they've got right now. And so pins become extremely important.
Missed 10 pin there for Bruno, but still, he's
got a huge lead.
Big lead in his match of 56 pins at number 1.
Lufkin through the nose. So right now, Jesuit's trying to get pins more than anything, and here's the chance with Anderson, who's hit the pocket every frame. Set it down early. And again, no reaction. That's just his demeanor, which serves him well. One thing you can
Lufkin got it.
Shot.
Wow. I thought it was going in front of the 7 pin. The 3 pin laid in the gutter and then took out the 7.
What point did I make earlier about Brother Martin's spare shooting ability? I think it's what separated them for the past several years as to why they've been the best team locally and most of the time around the state, because their spare shooting, as we just saw again, is just superb. It's kind of like basketball. I say, do they work on
it's like free throws, yeah.
Yeah, they work on them, but some of them don't make them as much, right?
Well, I like it.
Again, it's the same result.
That was a little bit better shot right there, and the messenger just didn't take it out. You're right about the comparison. What do you see when you go to a basketball practice? Everybody wants to practice dunks and threes now, and nobody ever goes to the free throw line and practice everything. You just want to throw strikes and see how many strikes you can throw, and don't go out there and shoot spares. Todd Bourgeois told me after the Holy Cross match this year, he says, I told my guys it was a very tight match, and they had missed a lot of spares, and he says, I told my guys when we practice the next day, leave your strike balls at home. We're just going to shoot spares for an hour and a half.
Bruno strikes. Now we got Cho going for 8 in a row, trying to maintain an edge for his team on the high pair, which they desperately need. Good release. Beautiful shot. I mean, you can't make a better shot than that. Again, his release is fun to watch.
Yeah, and the one thing you note, if you've seen Jonathan bowl it all over the years, is I like what he's done to his approach. He slowed it down. He straightened it a little bit. He's really solid in getting to the foul line. And if you do that consistently, you're going to make consistent shots.
Good shot by Bufkin off the 10 pin. There isn't anything to do when you left the shot with 10 pin. There's nothing you can do about that. Nice shot here. Jesuit needs strikes on the low pair. They get a double there at number 1 from Lusto. And Anderson doesn't hit the pocket for the first time.
He's going to win his match convincingly, nonetheless.
Had a chance for the huge score, but doesn't make the strike in the 10. Needs to spare it up here. Again, for Jesuit, it's all about getting pins on the high pair because Brother Martin's winning convincingly on the low pair.
Right. And unusually at this point, we don't have really, maybe with the exception of number 2, we really don't have a match in doubt at this point.
No, 2 would take something huge.
And even then, but that split right there, that might have just clinched it.
Yeah, it's over
for Blake Hebert at 2. Yeah.
So Brother Martin's going to win all 3 on the low pair, it appears. Anderson misses the pocket again, but shoots 234. So he went from going high to going wide. That's called an adjustment, maybe over-adjusting. Nice strike here, boy. You got to give a lot of credit to Vollenweider, who had that rough patch in the middle. He had the washout, had the split. He converted one of them and kept himself alive, and now look at him.
Chance to take it off the sheet for 231 and a win over Gehring, who can shoot at best a 185 here.
And to me, he might be the key guy for Jesuit. He's got to find his game if they want to have a chance in this match, because it's looking more and more like a 6-2 match for Brother Martin here in game 1. Nice shot there, blew out the 5 for Jesuit in the 3 spot by Nicholas Womble. And just now, guess what? He switched balls, but he went to a harder ball, and it never got there. Yeah. I would have thought he would have gone to something more reactive resin, but he went to a ball you're very familiar with, that orange-looking thing that somebody used to throw.
Yeah, I think somebody threw that a little bit. Yeah.
Just remembering, but that to me is a harder shell. That ball doesn't react as much. That's more of a down the boards ball. There's a major break.
Catch the break on the fill.
Of course, it's a fill ball, so it's count, but still got it. And finishes with 6 in a row and a 231. During converts.
That's what you want to do. Convert the spare. Now you got a fill ball. Now you've really got a chance to make any kind of adjustments that you want to make right here. And, take a chance on doing some things.
Averill
got the 4 late.
When it's going well for you, it's going well. It leaned one way. Said, nah, let's try the other way. Okay, that works. Give me a 3-burger. All good. Bruno trying to double up in the 10th frame. On lane 54, and he's high.
He could still spare and strike here for 226, which is obviously a great score to be able to get at the 1 spot.
That one got wide. He started that early, and it hooked a little bit. He's not a player that plays hook much, and he did there. Probably not intentionally. All right, so we're finished at 164 at number 1 for Jesuit with Gusto, and that's close to his average, but they're going to need more than that moving forward. And he switched balls again, and again, this ball doesn't react. I honestly believe, and I said it 7-8 frames ago, he needs to go to something that reacts more.
I guess some of that could be a comfort thing as well.
Sure.
What's comfortable in your hand?
Yep. And a 169 average, 169 for a 216 average bowler.
Yeah. So Bruno finishes with an open at a 10th for 214, but still a convincing win at 1.
Here is Cho looking for 9, and they need him to bowl big here to stay in this match. He set that way wide, and he's going to have an open frame in all likelihood. So
still going to win his match easily.
Yeah, but things could not go much worse for Jesuit here. They're only going to win the high pair by around 40 pins, 35 to 40 pins, and they needed much more than that total pin-wise because Brother Martin is running away on the low pair, and I mean running away. Cho tries to make it, gives up the pin, 2 pins and count there, and ends up shooting a 253 game. And Jesuit's lead on the high pair is only 33 pins, so much lower than it was like in the 9th frame. So Brother Martin gained a lot of ground late, and they're going to win this game 6-2, and they're going to win it convincingly total pins-wise, Lenny.
Let's see how things finish up on that side. A baby split conversion in the 2 spot there for Rudloff, and then he gets 8 on the fill for 192. Again, over his average.
Yeah, he did a good job, but couldn't win.
Hebert is coming up on the fill. He may make a ball change here, trying something on the fill shot. It's slick. It's time to do it. So
sure.
Meanwhile, Nunez will have the chance to come up in the 10th and shoot 267.
Jesuit got a 234 and a 253 on the high pair, and yet that's the only matches they're going to win.
That's a washout for Womble at 3. You'll have to convert this or else he will finish in the 160s, and that's going to be where you're going to see some of that gap come in. If Nunez has got a chance to strike out for 267, that could be almost a 100-pin difference in the 3 spot.
Huge. It's a lot of pins to make up moving forward against a good team. Good shot left the 10, but a good fill ball.
212 for Blake Hebert.
Well, we talked about Brother Martin's consistency and its depth, and you're seeing the depth. That's a beautiful spear conversion.
Yeah, well, it was a little unorthodox, but he got it just the same.
Exactly. So you're talking about the depth of Brother Martin showing itself in big fashion here in game 1. I mean, look at this low pair. They're going to shoot 214, 212, and then the 220s, 240s, I should say. Yeah. So that's a low pair.
But here's something to watch at this point, Ken. And we're seeing this here in the last couple of frames. Outside of Vollenweider, who struck out, people are not necessarily having a great look at this point, or they're losing something. Now, Cho was on an 8-bagger and just got one wide.
Right.
But we're starting to see some transition in the oil. How are they going to deal with that? So Jesuit is now done with 1193 for the game 1. And that's only worth 2 because Nunez, who strikes out for 247. That's a sweep on the low side for Brother Martin. They shoot 673 and 623 for 1296. So it is 6-2 Brother Martin, and they are up by 103 in total pins after 1 game. That's a big jump. So both these teams will huddle and get with their coaches. We'll see if there are any lineup changes coming down the line.
What's that total for Brother Martin again?
1296.
There we go, sir. Yeah, 103 the margin. That's a big margin with a 6-2 lead.
While we have a moment, while teams are huddling, we talk. There are obviously other state championships. Let's take a look, if we can, at the power rankings in Division II in the boys co-ed. And you see Archbishop Shaw sitting there. It's going to be a great year for Shaw. They've won a football championship. They're playing for a basketball championship this weekend. They're the number 1 seed and the defending state champion in Division II. And they are, look, if we have one class, they're the best team very possibly in all of those classes.
Top 5 in wrestling in the state this year in Division II. I mean, we could go on and on. Their programs are rolling and the school's rolling. Their enrollment continues to increase.
Right.
And doing a great job. And we're here doing the 2 best teams here in Division I here locally, and 2 of the best in the state. But let's be perfectly frank. The best team in Louisiana in bowling is Archbishop Shaw. They play in Division II, and they're remarkable. They're a great team. Kudos to Denise Vidro. She got an honor most recently. That is incredibly well-deserved.
Going into the Archbishop Shaw Hall of Fame. That induction will be next month, I believe.
Yes, it will be. Fantastic honor. Extremely well-deserved. Congratulations to Denise. What a bowling team Archbishop Shaw has. And we hope you'll get a chance to see them here very soon as well. So, all good, man. So we're done with game number 1. 6-2 Brother Martin lead with a 103-pin total pin lead going to game 2. Jesuit didn't bowl badly, but Jesuit must bowl better to have a chance in this match. And Buffkin says, I'm going to take care of that. And that's what Brother Martin wants to do here. They don't want to give Jesuit any hope here. They don't want to give him any room.
Right.
Anderson sets it wide. You can see that right away. So his last 3 shots after hitting the pocket 9 straight, he's missed the pocket. So maybe it's
and again, you wouldn't expect to see that on the left side because he's the only one playing out there. It's what I liked about being out there. I never had to worry about adjustments.
I think he's just missing. Yeah, he's just missing left. That ball is perfect, dead solid, perfect by Vollenweider. Had a really good first game. And we'll check Jesuit to see if they made a change here at number 1. Good spare shot there by Anderson. We'll have to double check that, right?
I'm pretty sure they did not, but I will jump off for a second.
I know they were thinking about it, but we'll see if there's any change there or not. But we'll check and see. And Lenny's doing that. That's a split for Bruno to get started on a low pair for Brother Martin. And now we see Averill trying to convert a spare on 56 for the Crusaders. And again, good spare shooting team. He nails it, no problem. Meanwhile, Jesuit misses a spare. And again, spare shooting so big, so an open frame right away at number 1 for Jesuit.
And possibly one for Brother Martin as well.
No change?
No change for either team. When you have those kind of scores, I can see why you stay the way you do.
Trying to get 2 pins, and he does. Again, they're taught that. They work at it hard, and they do it better than anybody else. There's a nice shot and a strike at number 2 for Jesuit for Jacob Rudloff. And no carry. Boy, Gary hasn't carried anything thus far here today.
I think at this point I'd be trying to move my feet a little right, maybe even get a little further outside. See,
you got to create more reaction on the back end to carry. I think he's.
And Todd Bourgeois, you can see Todd Bourgeois is talking to Grant right now, and
he's trying to keep his head in the game.
Yeah, and try to talk about adjustments.
There's nothing worse as a bowler than. You're up there, and it happened to me a lot. I know it happened to you. You hit the pocket consistently. You're not carrying. You don't want to make a change because you're saying, man, I've got the line. I'm hitting the pocket. But if you're not carrying, then, you've got to do something. And, of course, the other thought process is sooner or later it's going to open up for me a little bit, so I'm going to stick with it. But it better happen sooner as another missed spare for Jesuit in the 3 spot. Again, the spare shooting. As Womble can't convert the 10-pin.
A couple of strikes for Brother Martin at 2 and 3 by Hebert and Nunez.
Get a look at Jonathan Cho off that 253. Best game by either team. First time around, he had the 1 bad shot, and he comes back. Now, the difference is he creates a little area, but on the back end, he gets a snap to kick out the 10. That's the difference.
No doubt.
And there's a trip 4. Good shot at number 1 for Jesuit for Jack Lusto. Bounces back from the open frame. Great to see Scott Bain's father here today, representing Jesuit, the assistant athletic director. Anderson up the boards better this time, but he left the 7-pin. Has a better shot, though.
Yeah, just entry angle into the pocket, caused that flat 7.
Well, he's more of a, what I'd call top spin guy, with the roll he gets. There's a good shot by Buffkin. And he's off to a fast start with a double. Good job by Anderson to convert.
Got to be able to make.
Love the way Anderson shoots that 7-pin. He just flattens everything.
Straight at it, yep.
And makes it look easy, and it really is if you have the right approach. A little wide there, never quite got back.
Yep.
Double wood spare, use the lane to shoot it. In other words, cross the lane to try to get the angle you want.
Yeah,
as
you
Bruno
got to hit the 2 on the right to be able to take out the 8. If you hit the 2 on the left, it's going to keep on going and probably miss it.
Well, let's see. Gehring's using this orange shell, a little bit harder shell ball. If he keeps it in line, he did there.
Yeah,
but it's not even close.
Yeah, just got it out too quickly, I think, that time, and it overreacted.
I think he's just in a mental game at this point.
Well, you got to find.
He's a better player than this.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
His average reflects that, and trying to keep himself in the game here has to convert spares, and he does. And again, you notice that even though he's two hands, he uses a harder ball, and he kind of top spins the ball cross lane rather than turning it over. Avril, good extension, flat 10.
Yep.
Now Jonathan Cho. Cho will stand at about 34, 35 in terms of where he stands on the approach, which means he's very deep on the lane.
It might be about 30, I guess. He's got his, let's see.
He's
hitting the line about the 6th arrow.
Yep. He slaps it out of there. Again, snaps out the 10-pin. Stuck a little bit at the line, but maintained his balance. Has the double. Nice cover by Avril. And another nice spare. Brother Martin, again, spare shooting, as I say over and over again. They're so proficient at it. Again, they are the best in that regard.
One of the things, Colonial has done some investing in equipment. That's a 60-year-old house, but they've done some investing in equipment out there. And one of the things that they did is they went in and replaced pin setters over, the back end equipment over the last couple of years. And one of the things that you can do now there is going on the computer, and you can continually set up spares to be able to shoot. As Buffkin catches a break there and crosses over.
Gets a triple too. Yeah. That's huge. When you miss badly and you end up with a triple, see if he can use it moving forward. Anderson tries to answer, and he does.
Much better shot there.
And another 10-pin left for Jesuit. Alusto. Beautiful shot here by Wallenweider.
Yeah, and you can see there, he is inside and not crossing a lot of boards, which is not the norm for a two-hander at all.
Cover by Bruno. And good extension there. Beautiful shot.
Much better shot by Avril that time, and a much better reaction as a result.
Let's see if Gehring can find anything. He stays with the orange flavor in the boards.
Change his angle a little bit there.
When I mean in the boards, I mean up the boards. He's not giving it a lot of room there. He's playing the oil pattern in the oil, so to speak. So never quite got out of it to hook it. Stayed in it and got the 10 out nicely. There's a strike at number 2 for Jesuit for Rudloff. He's got a slight edge early on, but again, it's too early to really talk about edges. It's not too early to talk about Jonathan Cho, who's been a strike machine today. But he got that wide, and it never quite reacted.
No.
You kind of get the feeling he can't get it too wide. We saw him get one wide in the 10th frame.
There's a little bit of out of bounds, it appears. It's not that you can get it to wherever you want to.
Right.
Sometimes, some places, that would be the case. Yeah.
Beautiful shot. That's a double. And number 3 for Nicholas Womble.
Hear the story sometimes about, a shot is easy. He's only got, somebody's only got 2 boards to play, but they both have arrows on them. That's when you know you got a good shot, right?
It's funny. I was watching an old match online because my wife wanted to connect with Brian Voss again, and we did. And watching an old match online between he and Weber a couple of days ago, and I think the loser shot 250-something, and it was like no matter where they threw the ball, it ended up in the 1-3. And that's to take nothing away from them. They were phenomenal.
And look, those are not, keep in mind, but those pros, those are not house shots they're bowling.
No,
they are that good.
They're that good.
PBA World Championship going on right now. I mean, you're seeing the best in the world go at it there. And E.J. Tackett is the leader at this point. He's
awesome.
He's probably the best bowler in the world. Who knows?
This is wide. Yep.
Huge break out of the back. Huh? Wow.
Somebody said, I like you today. Same reaction. Great result. There's a solid 10-pin. Boy, you can't make a better shot than that. Lusto just didn't carry.
It's one of those things with those spares. You got to, like you missed a head pin, and you're trying to shoot. Wow! Stone 8-pin for Blake Avia.
There is, and
great shot
right there. Can't make a better shot than that. Vollenweider, nice shot. Wow, well done
right there.
See if Gehring can put something together here now. After he struck in the third frame, he's on the right lane now, on lane 56. Took his time here, and keeps that in the oil as well. And there you go. So I think he's made the adjustment. He's keeping the ball in the oil. He's moved in slightly, and he's getting in. He had two options, Lenny. Switch balls. Three options. Yeah. Move out or play in the oil and go down the boards, which he's chosen to do. He chose door number 3.
There you go.
And so far, he's hit the jackpot. He found the car behind door number 3. What kind of car was it? Well, we all know what it was. It was a Lamarck automotive vehicle.
There you go. More on that later, by the way. More on that later, but it does give us a chance to remind you that today's coverage of Crescent City Sports brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. On March 30th, it's the annual city tournament right here at Bolero Kenner. Visit gnousbc.org or their Facebook page. Come out, support your local association, and have fun doing it. They have supported what we've done here at Crescent City Sports in terms of trying to bring you the best in high school bowling for several years now.
We are very grateful. Spare conversion. And spares are important. Let's see if Anderson can find his stroke again. Looks like he switched balls.
Yeah, you know what I think? Even then, it may have like changed angles, changed ball speed a little bit. Yeah, it's Buffkin misses a 6-pin right there.
We don't see Brother Martin miss very one-pin spares. There's one miss there. Tightens that match.
But that's something you and I remember that, but it's not something that you see much of now.
There's a triple.
Changing ball speed. It's like
that's hard to do.
It is. It is, but when you didn't show up with 6 bowling balls to the center like everyone does now, then that's kind of what you had to do sometimes.
No doubt. Mentioned Womble with a beautiful strike. He's got a triple on the low pair, which is important because his opponent tripled to start the game. And here's a nice spare conversion. Again, well done by Vollenweider. And a match that's dead even. And Gehring, and now he's got 3 in a row. So the adjustment has paid off handsomely for him. He stuffed all 3 of them, keeping the ball tight from the start. Averill reached out and got it. So he's got a triple, and he takes the lead in his match.
For the moment, Cho could tie it up right here with a strike. And
Bruno, bang. He's got a double. He's bowling very well in that one spot today.
Took the lead back. Started this match with a couple of opens, but has regained the lead with that double.
Jonathan Cho trying to bounce back. Got it. That's wired. That's what we call wired from the time he lets it go. So he's tied that match.
So let's whip around here.
So now we're looking at the matches for the first time.
Right. Match 1 is slight edge to Brother Martin at this point.
Correct.
Match 2, a slight edge to Jesuit.
And there's a 1-pin spare miss by Jesuit.
So that lead just extended at number 1 a bit. Match 3 is pretty even at this point. Both bowlers have a turkey, but a slight edge to Brother Martin
by 10.
Right. At match 4,
Anderson
it is
for a double.
To take the lead at 4. He takes a 2-pin lead right there. Buffkin's got a washout to convert there, the 1-2-6-10. It is a slight lead, 10 pins for Jesuit at 5, and it's dead even right now at 6. So this match is very much so, and hopefully we get some matches here in the 10th frame that can be decided.
Look at this. What a conversion by Buffkin. I mean, again, you're looking at it from the opponent's point of view. You said, we got an opening here. We're going to have an open frame. Think again.
So
great shot.
Whenever I bowled match play, I hated to watch my opponent. I would just sit there and think about my next shot, because if somebody got a lucky break, I didn't want that getting in my head.
Look at this messenger. Vollenweider gets excited. He should. Got the messenger, got the strike. And now Gehring trying to make it 4 in a row. Got that one a little wider and turned it over. That's the answer. So, again, he didn't keep that one tight enough. And you can see the difference right away.
And this is arguably the leaving splits out of it. Yeah.
4 in a row.
Gehring's got the 3, 6, 9, 10. This is the most difficult spare there is to make because you're talking about trying to cover 3 pins and that double wood back there with the 9 pin.
Yeah, you need to make a perfect shot here.
Yeah.
Basically, to make
you
this.
You got to hit to the right of the 3 pin, but yet up high enough that you're going to get out the 9.
Can't do it.
Or he went up very high on the 3. Yeah.
Things going south for Jesuit in a hurry here in the 5th frame on both pairs. As Brother Martin starts to open up a bit of a lead here again. Jesuit needs to keep in touch. They cannot afford to be down, say 12-4. Something of that nature that gives them little or no chance moving forward, in particular with the pin situation, which is 103 going into this game. Squeeze that one. Shaker 10 didn't go for Musto.
Now Cho on the right lane.
Gave that a lot of room.
Oh, that's too wide.
Too much room.
Yeah, fortunately, he got the 10 out and stayed away from the split, but still has the 2-4 standing.
And now that gives the lead clearly at number 6 to Averill. So things have changed dramatically here as Brother Martin's taken the lead 2 out of the 3 on the high pair now when they were down previously. There's Bruno with a triple.
Yeah, just extended his lead there.
Just opening up a big lead there. He won game 1 pretty easily, and he's in good shape here. Cho covers. And so does Listo. But again, looking at this right now, Brother Martin with...
They've got a lead in 4 of 6.
Got a lead in 4 of 6 again, much like the first game at this stage. Yeah. And as for pins, close on the high pair. Brother Martin slight edge on the low pair. Anderson can't carry the 6 pin this time and really needed that. Now his lead down to 1. There's a washout. Buffkin.
Better shot.
Cover off it.
Yeah, better shot there. He's, had some tough luck here the last couple of frames. Made a big washout conversion there, but and it looks like Hebert, after converting a spare, has got a chance to take the lead sitting on the bench right here after that split that you see on lane 54.
Beautiful
He
shot.
made it, though. What a
That's
shot.
a really nice
to
shot.
hang on to the lead. Rudloff needed that one in a big way to maintain the lead, so it is a 10-pin lead for Jesuit.
Jesuit needs something positive here in the next couple of frames. As I mentioned, they cannot afford to be down in the 12-4 vicinity, which it's looking like right now.
It could very well be. This is Vollenweider is going to open here, and there's a chance for Gehring, even after the open frame, to get the lead back here at 5.
And strike for Womble. Womble's capable of throwing strikes. He's thrown 4 strikes this game, but he's had 2 opens. Speaking of opens.
Oh, wow. Gehring leads the 4-10. That was another overreaction.
Gehring had a big opportunity, and again, he cannot get that ball wide. He must keep it in the oil in 2 in a row. He's not been able to do what he wanted to do. There's a big 5-bagger, trip to 4-7. He's kept it in play in the 1-3. Not exactly where he wanted it, but still a quality shot. You're not going to make every shot perfect. Probably trying to make this. That's what he was trying to do.
He went for it. You can't fault him for that right there. It's one pin.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, as we know, that can mean the difference in some cases, but in this case, it's whether you're down 5 or down 6.
Bruno trying to get 4 in a row here on 54. Smashes it and leaves a 10.
It had a potential messenger spinning on the deck, but it didn't get there.
Joe needs to get on here to stay in his match against Averill. He's got 5 in a row now. Better shot.
Got it right there.
As soon as he lets it go. And people ask me all the time, how do you know that? Well, know the game fairly well. Been around it a while. You can tell by the release and where he puts it down if it's going to end up good or not. When that happens, it's simply a matter of carrying as Bruno cannot convert the 10 pin.
2 opens there at number 1.
And a shaker 7. Good shot by Buffkin. Can't carry. And he needed that one to take the lead. He's down 1. Anderson, though, must fill to keep that 1-pin lead. And he's up the boards, and he's up by 1. That's a big shot to maintain a 1-pin lead.
We got some good matches in this.
4 right there.
Yeah, nice shot by Blake Hebert.
So Hebert down 10 in his match.
A lot of close matches here
Buffkin
as we get to the 8th.
Keep this a 1-pin match. He does. Nice shot.
Yeah, what are we looking at here? We're looking at
there's
one is not.
Nicholas Womble needs a double here. He got it. So he's now closed the gap a little bit to stay in that match as they stay in it.
Oh, and a baby split. Nunez needs to convert it. This could get real interesting over on that. That would be if he doesn't convert, that would be a single pin lead right there.
And this one's wide by Vollenwater. Yeah. So an opportunity once again for Gehring, but he's had 2 rough frames in a row. And he switches balls again, Lenny. So it's just been that kind of day for him. There's a very fortunate break.
Yeah, yep.
Missed it to make it.
Fortuitous. Seen a couple of those kind of breaks today, and again that's high. Wow.
Well, it's just not his day. And twice in a row he's had a chance to take the lead in his match, and twice in a row he hasn't been able to do it.
That's what you do. You nearly bounced that 2-pin out off the wall to get the 10.
Double wood.
Yep.
So this becomes a matter if you're Gehring, you got to keep your cool and you got to get 3 pins here to stay close.
Within 10. That's
exactly. You got to make sure you get count here. Very important. He made a good shot to get 3. Yep. That's what you need to do. Yep. Take your medicine. And
so he's down. He's down 7. Yeah, down 7.
So he's on less than 10 down, which is important. And there's a solid 10-pin.
Yeah. And a 2-8-10 over on lane 53 for Bruno.
Look at Avril. Avril's got 6 in a row.
Peyton has got it going now. Yep.
He's got his match in hand with 6 straight now. Joe's just trying to keep his team around here.
Cho could still go out for 257, so there's a long way to go here. Yeah,
no, but he's.
But all it takes is one. All it takes is one shot to not be a strike. And wow,
unbelievable!
I made the 2-8-10, sent the 2 off the corner wall, and a kick back out. And Cho delivers with a double to keep within contact here.
That split conversion tells you everything you need to know about this match. Brother Martin is in control here in game 2. And you can hear the reaction from their many fans there. Jesuit's got a bunch of fans, including students. Students here today from Jesuit as well.
Yep.
Look at this kid. Look at this rack.
Wow.
Pins falling everywhere and a light hit for Buffkin. And that's huge because he's only down 1 pin. Anderson must strike here to take an 11-pin lead or he's going to go to the wall with a chance to lose. Beautiful shot. And look at his reaction. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
It's a left-handed thing, I think. Yeah. There's another split washout for Jesuit. Yep. And that split washout for Jesuit at number 2 could give Brother Martin a chance to take the lead.
Hebert's got a spare to convert here, but if he does convert, he can take it. He didn't need the double. Yeah.
That's right.
Which would give Brother Martin the lead in
Let's see if Rudloff can make a great conversion here. Nope. No. Open frame Vollenwater. And
Vollenwater's got 3 straight opens.
Yeah, but so does Gehring.
So does Gehring.
So it's like
every time now Gehring gets a chance to get up, potentially take the lead for the 3rd frame in a row.
You want it? No. You want it? Nah, it's okay. Okay, let's see who wants it here. Well, first of all, let's see Avril. Payton's got 6 in a row. Looking for number 7. Oh, that ball is starting early.
Yep. Yeah, got it a little wide. He's been more direct at the pocket. Got that one wide, and it jumped on him.
And finally, a good shot from Gehring, and that puts him ahead at number 5. So keep in mind.
This is all changing right now very quickly, Ken. Jesuit has an 11-pin lead at 4. Gehring with that strike took the lead at 5. And Avril nearly got it. Okay, so he's got a possible 244. Cho has a possible 257
if he goes off the sheet.
Yep.
Now, Jesuit left a 10-pin at number 3, which was big because that's a close match.
With a conversion, that would be a 16-pin lead.
Right, he needed that strike. And he needs a spare, and he got that. So he's still in the match. Right. But he needed that strike.
Okay, so lane 55 right now. It's an enormous shot coming up from Jonathan Cho to really put himself in position to get up in the 10th and win the match.
He must strike here to have a chance to win this match. Nice shot by Lusto. Cho taking a lot of time, and now he takes his hand on the ball. You can tell he knows this is an important shot. That's probably as much time as he's taken all day. Good release.
Jumped
too early. So he went from wide once or twice to early here, and that's going to put him at maximum 235.
Yeah, but he's got the advantage in count right now. Keep that in mind too. So if he could strike out for 235, Peyton Averill goes strike, spare, spare, strike, that's 234. He would have to double to win the match.
Bruno strikes, he's going to win his match. There's a strike for Jesuit at 2 to keep him close, and that's Rudloff. That's a match to watch.
Right.
That's a 2-pin match right now. And there's a spare. It wasn't easy, but he made it.
Very nearly chopped it.
Yeah, this is a big count right here.
Right, Hebert stuffed it.
He stuffed it. That's 2-pin lead. Both on strikes going to the 10th, so watch number 2 in the 10th frame and how close that's going to be. That's a swing match for Jesuit. They need that match.
Everything getting to the 10th frame right now is one more shot with Womble up to finish out the 9th frame, and Bo Buffkin's going to start the 10th for Brother Martin on the right
Womble
there.
And he slapped out the 10 that time. Couldn't slap it out last frame when he made a really good shot, but now here's a chance at number 3 to really kind of put the match away if you're Nunez.
Gets this, he goes up 26, and he's got it.
Yeah, he's in good shape there to take that match home.
Yeah, he still needs a mark in the 10th to close it out.
Ostensibly forcing a double at the very least. If you don't double in the 10th for Jesuit, you're out of it.
All right.
Here's Anderson, and this is a 11-pin match. He needs a big shot here to really win the match. He set that wide. And he got 9. That's
he got away with
9.
it. Okay. All right.
So the pin count is even now.
Yeah. So here's the situation now, though, although because
possibility of a tie.
Well, it is, but it's a little bit harder. We take 9 spare 9 to get to 216, and then strike 9 spare by Buffkin. But here's the thing now: Buffkin can win the match.
He can win the match with 2 strikes.
Right.
There's a beautiful strike by Bruno. Boy, as he bowl wanted well at number 1. When your number 1 bowler is shooting 200s, you're not going to lose. Anderson has to have the spare, and he'll get it.
All right.
Buffkin watching him to see what he needs.
He was about to get up and then sat back down.
Loose dough. Crosses over. So big win by Bruno at 1. That's going to be a substantial win.
Again, building that margin. He won by 50 in the first game.
Right. Yeah, it's not been competitive. And he just struck again.
Chance to strike on the fill for 215.
Football player? No, I'm a bowler, man. Cross lane. Nice
got
there.
it. That's 10 big pins. You're not going to win the match at 1, but you just adding to that total here.
Everybody just kind of watching here at 55, 56. I'm not sure what that's all about.
And
off the 10 pins.
So 214 again for Bruno.
So he's going for the triplicate, man. Loose dough strikes for 162. So he's in the 160s both games, close to his average, but they need more. And if you're going to beat the best, you got to get it done.
Big shot from Hebert right here at 2. And he got it to take a 12-pin lead for the moment.
Yep, he can win the match on the next shot.
I don't know if there's an issue on 55 and 6.
Okay,
they turn it off. That's what it is.
That's what the problem is. Okay. So he has to have this strike right here. And that's high.
And he got it. Crossed over.
Break for Rudloff keeps him in the match.
Yeah, 2-pin match.
A 2-pin match. So now Nunez. Not Nunez, pardon me, but Hebert. Blake Hebert has a chance to maintain that here. He needs it to do so. A 2-pin match. Release. Sent it out. Triple 4.
Wow.
That's huge because now you're talking about 2 pins count-wise.
Right, now he needs, no matter what happens.
Just needs 9, he wins.
9, yeah, 9's a winner.
Well, this has to be a strike here. It doesn't matter. And he made a better shot and doesn't get it. So that's a big win for Nunez. Brother Martin is going to win all 3, it appears, on that pair. I mean, again, the low pair for Brother Martin. Said it beforehand. It's turned out to be absolutely true.
Buffkin with a big strike.
And now Buffkin has a chance to win the match with a strike. He waited all that time, Lenny, and he goes up and delivers that. Right. And a 200 game at number 2 for Blake Hebert. Again, over his average. And a 190 game at number 2 for Rudloff. Better than his average, but again, twice in a row, but he's lost both matches. And a trip 4 again. Nunez continues to roll. He's going to win his match. And there's a sweep on the low pair, no question. And the pins are mounting again for Brother Martin. And it gets bleaker for Jesuit by the moment.
Wait again here.
Yeah.
I don't know if the ball. Oh, it was a ball return issue. The ball didn't come back, perhaps.
Long waits. That's way high, and
that's going to only stretch that margin.
No, the frustration has set in, and it's almost like reality setting in to a degree, right? And that's wide, and that's pin count, and that's going to really.
And that opens the door.
Correct.
For
now, Buffkin can win with a 9 spare.
Yeah, exactly.
So that really opened the door. Anderson went from a winning position to very likely not winning the match despite bowling 215, which is a good game. I mean, he's bowled 234, 215. .186 game for Womble. That has not been able to shoot his average in the 2 games thus far. And almost a 7-10, but left to 7. 245.
Wow. So Nunez, 247, 245. How good has he been?
That's your number 3.
Happy
number
birthday,
3
Mom.
Spot. Happy birthday indeed. What a present he's delivering. Here we go. That's
wide.
And he wins them.
Wow. Well, he hasn't won the match yet. He's got to make the spare, or it's a tie.
Make it, yep. Or a tie match. So, really got a break there. And now here's Gehring, who has to strike here if he wants to win. And he not only doesn't strike, he opens the door to lose the match.
Wow.
So now it's falling apart for Jesuit.
Well, now, here's the situation, Ken.
They could win all 6.
This could be over.
It's over with.
This could absolutely. This could be a closeout. We talked
right.
about the fact that we're gonna have a tight match in the 3rd game. The numbers suggest that.
Here
This has got a chance to be over.
There's your tie match taken away. He won it by 1 pin. A 1-pin win for Buffkin, and everything is going to Brother Martin now.
Right.
And they
all
know
right.
it.
So
they know it.
Vollenweider, assuming Gehring doesn't bounce this out of the back right here, Vollenweider's going to need a mark to win.
That's it. He gets the 2 count.
And then it's going to come down to the final match.
167 game for Gehring. And definitive. It's going to be a Brother Martin victory over Jesuit. And it's closed out in 2 games here.
Perhaps. Well, we still got to see what happens at
likelihood.
6. You still got to get the point at 6 at this point. Let's see what happens here.
Joe needs to strike out. He needs to throw at least 2, and he's high.
That's high.
Oh, my.
It held in the oil. Wow.
He didn't like to release it. It ends up flush. Trying to keep his team at least in the game. It's almost just really representative, because from the standpoint of the overall, it's pretty much over. Even if he wins this
even if it ends up 13-3, it's going to be a big lead at that point.
Sure.
The only route for Jesuit to win would be to sweep the last game and overtake total pins, and it's going to be.
That's not going to happen. It's going to be 200 pins.
It's going to be close to 200.
Right.
Because it's what is that on the left side there? That is. It's
650 to 530.
Yeah, so they've up 120. It's basically a wash on this side. So they're going to be up
sent that one wide,
pins.
And it overreacted. So that's over with.
All right, well,
basically.
Well, Averill, Averil's going to get up and need a mark.
Yeah. Well, he'll tripped off 4 and lead on 9.
184 for Vollenweider for a win. All right, so here you go. Lane at 55. Here's your story. First, we'll look at Cho on 56. Try to convert
55,
the
pin got knocked down, so we're going to have to respot that again. They're having all kinds of trouble with 55.
All right. Cho will convert for 225. Averill comes up in the 10th with 214 in the 9th. So he needs a mark and 1.
Yep. He needs a mark and 1. And Cho 225, well, that's just an average game. That's his average.
Yep.
Here's Averill to win it. 10 pin. So he must make this to extend, or rather for Brother Martin to win this match overall. If he misses it, Jesuit's going to be up 13-5. Huh?
13-3.
13-3, pardon me. Yeah. Good release.
Got it.
Bottom. Now he just needs to keep it on the lane. 2 pins would do it, and would give Brother Martin the win in this match before they even get to the 3rd game. Who would have thought that? Certainly not us.
No, not at all.
Not that we wouldn't have thought Brother Martin would win the overall match. Of course, you had to think they were a slight favorite coming in. But to win this definitively, I mean, it's a demonstrative victory here. 234.
Wow.
And you can hear the reaction. They know
you see the reaction. Look at it.
They know they've won this match. It's 14-2. They shut out Jesuit 8-0 in game 2. Not competitive. And that's about Brother Martin, really. It's not about Jesuit per se. Can Jesuit bowl better? Sure. But this is about the performance that Brother Martin has put on here this afternoon. It's been terrific.
Wow. This is quite the surprise, Ken. I did not expect this by any means. We talked about at the outset, what we were looking at coming in with even scores, with, the fact that, Jesuit's been in a bunch of tight matches this year. Brother Martin has not had a, one time all year they've had a match that was still in the balance in game 3, and that was 13-3. You did not expect this.
No. And we might see some changes.
Yeah, we may. Let's see. This is one of these things again. You use this. Do you use today as a tune-up for what you're going to see in tight tests in the state playoffs? Brother Martin's not going to bowl another match for 3 weeks. But I think probably in this kind of environment, do you want to give some other guys a chance? Certainly. Let's see what happens. Trust me, I don't think either one of these coaches expected the match to be over in 2.
You would think not. I certainly didn't feel it would be, as mentioned. But the situation is clear. Jesuit's not going to be able to come back in this match. Brother Martin has won the match. They've already clinched it with 14 points, which is the number to get to win. That's 14-2 after 2. As Brother Martin took game 1 6-2 and shut out Jesuit 8-0 in game 2. And it's been a matter of consistency for Brother Martin, just a more consistent team all afternoon thus far.
So we'll check the lineups here again. We could see some substitutions. I'll hop off here for a second and see if we do have some subs.
All right, Lenny, we'll do that. And as we get you set for the start of Game 3, also to remind you that Crescent City Sports will continue our live stream coverage. Tomorrow it's high school baseball and a tremendous rivalry game renewed, as you will be able to watch Jesuit Blue Jays at home at John Ryan Stadium against the Archbishop Rommel Raiders. Game is at 6:30. We're on at about 6:15 in a simulcast with 106.1 The Ticket tomorrow evening. I will be joined by outstanding analyst Danny Ream and Kurt Bollinger tomorrow evening from John Ryan Stadium. And again, we'll be on there at 6:15 as part of a simulcast with 106.1 The Ticket. It's Jesuit Rommel. Do we need to say more? Unbelievable rivalry of so many years, so many incredible, memorable games played between these two outstanding programs over the years. Maybe more so than any other two teams in our area that have staged the most dramatic games imaginable. 18 innings, 15 innings, 12 innings, 9 innings. I mean, we've seen it all in recent years. Many of those have been on Crescent City Sports, and we are likely going to get another one of those coming up tomorrow evening from John Ryan Stadium. Jesuit and Rommel. The Raiders took game 1 of the series. They defeated the Blue Jays 7-4 at Mike Miley Stadium. Wednesday, you can read the story at CrescentCitySports.com, where we have our reports every day on high school baseball, high school softball, bowling, when it occurs. We do this with sports across the board, where you get your daily coverage, unlike any other, at CrescentCitySports.com. Of course, our coverage of the high school basketball state championship games going on in Lake Charles right now. I was there yesterday, and we have Grant Shashery and VK Jones there now covering what happens in Lake Charles at Burton Coliseum the rest of the way. Tough loss for John Curtis Christian today. Who's at the buzzer to St. Thomas More. Congratulations to Archbishop Shaw, to Country Day, and to St. Augustine, all of whom won to get to the finals, as did Archbishop Hannon in a thriller. It'll be Archbishop Shaw and Archbishop Hannon for the Select Division II championship. Country Day playing for the Select 3 championship against Calvary Baptist, and St. Augustine playing St. Thomas More for the championship in Select Division I, as we have our select local teams faring extremely well. Great season for John Curtis Christian. Great season for Crescent City Christian as well, who made it to Lake Charles, but came up just short in their games. So, again, you can read all the coverage at CrescentCitySports.com, where you can have our coverage of high school sports each and every day. We hope you enjoy that. We enjoy bringing it to you. And again, you can read all the coverage. St. Augustine against St. Thomas More, Archbishop Shaw against Archbishop Hannon, Country Day against Calvary Baptist. All at CrescentCitySports.com. Game recaps, video interviews, and more. We hope you'll check that out. And as mentioned, our live stream tomorrow evening, John Ryan Stadium, Jesuit hosting Archbishop Rummel, Game 2 of that series. I don't know that there's been a better trilogy of games between any two teams in high school baseball than those two programs. And look, you have other outstanding programs in the area. John Curtis Christian's been that program in recent years, clearly. You know, Holy Cross has been good, Brother Martin's been good, but the games that Jesuit and Rummel have produced,
they're epic.
They're off the charts, man.
Well, the first time we ever brought you video, our team ever brought you video of a Jesuit Rummel game, you were off doing an arena football game, and your colleagues tomorrow night, Danny Ream and Kirk Bullinger, called the game that is still the game that we compare every game to. 18 innings. Is it 2-1 Jesuit? Yeah. All right, so let's update you before we not a lot of changes actually.
Well, you had the 18-inning game, you had the 15-inning game, the 12-inning game, the 9-inning game, and we've had most of them on our website over the years.
It seems that way, yes.
It's unbelievable. That's why we do those games.
Right, exactly. Always a good one. So not a lot of changes here. In the one spot, it'll be James Ralph going in for Jack Lusto. The only change for Jesuit. The other five will remain the same. Again, they've got a lot of seniors who are, bowling their last home regular season match. Brother Martin, it's their last, or not their last home match, I'm sorry, but obviously this kind of match. Brother Martin, it is their last regular season match for those three seniors, so they're staying in on the right side. Tyler Nunez with a shot at 700 is staying in as well. It's a couple new bowlers at 1 and 2. Kudos to Nick Bruno and Blake Hebert who bowl well, but, go take a seat and give Sheldon Bruno, Nick's cousin, a shot, along with Chris Balfour, the freshman, who gets his first exposure to this as well.
So Bruno in the 1 and Balfour in the 2?
Balfour to 2, replacing Nick Bruno and Hebert.
Yeah, got it. So Brother Martin's won this match. It's you want to say it's academic, but it's not, because these kids are in it to compete and to do well. And you can see the letdown for Jesuit already.
Well, of
Two
course.
splits and open frames on the high pair.
Of course. I mean, you put everything into this, and this is obviously a lot made of this. And look, no defense excuse, things like that. That was an enormous match on Tuesday for Jesuit. To have these matches come back-to-back on the schedule when you bowled an undefeated East Ascension team on the road on Tuesday, this is a district championship match. This is your rival. I get that. But that match going into the facility where where the state finals are held, to bowl a team that is arguably the best team outside the New Orleans area in East Ascension. They've been the best team in Baton Rouge this season in that region. To go in there and beat them and to shoot a big score, and now you're going to try and come back again. That's tough. That's tough. And both of these teams are bowling their third matches of the week as well. I would add that.
Well, we showed the Division II power ratings earlier.
We're going to talk about the girls momentarily.
Number one, but that's what I was transitioning to, is to talk about the girls, because, again, we've got the girls as well. We'll have the state championship for you in Gonzales of the girls again this year, and we'll get to that here coming up shortly. But we know from a local perspective, there's one team that is far and away
and they're probably watching right now. They're having their senior day over at Colonial Lanes, but it's Archbishop Chappelle, who is right now the number 2 team in the rankings. And I'll say it. Last year we saw Chappelle and Dutchtown in the finals. Okay? The only way we don't see Chappelle and Dutchtown in the finals this year is if they end up on the same side of the bracket and they're bowling in the semifinals. And obviously we'll have to see how the power rankings play out. But we'll get a look at those girls' rankings here. You see right now what it is. It's 1 and 2, Dutchtown and Chappelle. Now Dutchtown has 4 matches left to bowl. Chappelle is bowling their final match today against Mount Carmel. They might actually slip back a little bit because they're gonna lose some ground, because Mount Carmel doesn't have the wins that will keep up there. You see St. Scholastica, Denham Springs, South Terrebonne lost their first match of the year yesterday to Berwick, who jumped up into the 8th spot. Other teams locally, Patrick Taylor sitting there at number 9. They were a semifinalist a year ago. There's a couple of teams just off the screen that could make a jump into there. One is Kenner Discovery, and one is Academy of Our Lady to possibly sneak in to the top 16 and end up in the playoffs. We'll see how that plays out. But look, if you're handicapping, if we're going to the racetrack here and we're handicapping, this is a 2-horse race. And if you could make an exacta box, that would be the thing to do. And that will be a whale of a match again this year if that happens.
Archbishop Chappelle has an anchor bowler that's scholarship.
Yeah, Olivia Barra is headed to Louisiana Tech. And look, they're deep. They've got a chance to qualify either 7 or 8 bowlers for the 48 spots in singles. And that's one of the things that Dorothy Himbert, Bruce's wife, who coaches the Chappelle team, has had to manage is, getting enough games for all of those bowlers to be able to qualify, because you need 21 games and the requisite average. You got to be one of the top 48 to be able to qualify for singles.
A little bit of a letdown across the board here early on in Game 3, although we do have 2 doubles for Jesuit at numbers 2 and 3. Chris Balfour at 2. That's Jacob Rudloff at 2 and Nicholas Womble at 3.
There was a strike there on the left lane for Chris Balfour, who's the one new player on this roster. He's the one freshman. Everybody else is back from a year ago, much like what Jesuit has, what Rummel has. Neither Jesuit nor Rummel had a senior last year. Brother Martin only had one. I'm trying to remember what his name was. Yeah.
But the point is, you had the 3 top local teams, 2 of whom made the Final Four, 1 of whom made the Final 2 a year ago, having everybody back except for one guy.
And they all ended up on the same side of the bracket.
Yeah,
it might have
really
gone deeper than that. I mean, it's just, Rummel and Jesuit bowled in the quarterfinals last year at Colonial. Rummel won that match. Same type of thing. We didn't expect it. You remember that match? Rummel had clinched it 14-2 after 2 last year. And
then they had the pleasure of having to bowl Brother Martin in the semifinals. Yeah.
Which was a highly intense match. And
I want to point out the leave on line 54.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Okay? You don't see.
That's the 1789.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I mean, you have to try incredibly hard to come up with that mix of pins as a leave. How do you make this? Not that.
They got the 7-8 out, though. Yeah, that's a tough cover. So.
Yeah, I mean, that is so weird to see a leave like that. Goodness gracious. That was very strange. Anderson splits right through the nose. I mean, it's all about the final margin. It's academic in that regard. Moving forward here, we're not going to see any drama here. We know the outcome having been decided. It's just a matter of, we have any good games that go on here and what the margin will be moving forward as Bufkin goes a little wide. And reactions toned down, as you can tell, because this thing is basically just rolling it out, so to speak. Again, you got seniors here that want to bowl and bowl well, having the opportunity, facing each other, maybe for the last time. Might see each other down the road. You never know.
You hope. And one of the things, to the LHSA's credit, they went to a power ranking system in bowling in 2019. So this is 7 years now. We didn't have a playoff we got through the regular season, but did not have a playoff in 2020 because of COVID. But in all of that time, so that's 5 different playoffs. This would be 6 this year. Every year, Jesuit and Brother Martin have ended up on the same side of the bracket, so there's no way they could have faced off in the finals. And you'd think there's a great chance that if they do end up on different sides of the bracket, they could meet in the finals.
Right, and then the other team that's been successful in the past, Rummel, have won a couple of state championships. Right. They've ended up being eliminated by Brother Martin. Three times, maybe?
Lost the championship in 19.
Right.
Lost in the semifinals, of course, a year ago. I think that's it. Brother Martin
they lost him again in 17, was it? 18?
Oh, yeah, going back. When
Rummel had the two-hander that was so good that worked here. So,
right, now that was you were in a different format then where you basically everything was – you had 2 teams from the other part of the state and then 2 teams from southeast Louisiana that would end up in the Final Four. That was before we went to power rankings.
The point is these 3 teams they keep running into each other in the playoffs short of the finals, with one exception when Rummel got there somewhat unexpectedly, right?
Yeah, Rummel was, I believe, a 21 seed in 19. But they bowled, they took out 3 of the top 5 seeds along the way to get to the finals. Now, Brother Martin that year, I remember, had an enormous semifinal match against a very good Central Lafourche team, and I think it ended up either 14-13 or 15-12. Great match.
Swung at the end.
Yeah. And then, of course, the final was a little bit more of a spread than that.
Yeah, that was at All-Star Lanes back in the day.
Yep.
Remember that one very well.
That was our first year of broadcasting the finals.
And we always pay homage to. We mentioned Denise Vidros. We want to give credit to Charles Noble. He was inducted into the Archbishop Rummel Athletic Hall of Fame, a committee that we serve on. And what's notable there is it's the first bowler in the history of that Hall of Fame.
Now again, a lot of these schools who have halls of fame, and Rummel has had one for several years now. Holy Cross has started one. Shaw has started one. So they're honoring their greats. And these two schools, by the way, we should know, do not have one.
Exactly.
The first Hall of Fame, if they ever decide to do it, Mark Wisniewski's down the way. Maybe he's listening. Maybe Dave Morrow's watching. Maybe some of the administrators are watching. If you decide to do it, that first class of those, that's going to be an epic discussion of who gets in because of the great histories of, assuming Brother Martin goes all the way back to the St. Aloysius Koryezu days and includes that 150 years worth. And then you've got, obviously 150 years of history as well as Jesuit, even more than that. So.
Yep. Right. Look, Jesuit has the Hall of Honors where they honor a lot of the greats over the years, but it's not they don't have a Hall of Fame. And the same thing with Brother Martin. And kudos to Phil Greco. He got this ball rolling. Right. He was way ahead of everybody and started this effort at Archbishop Rummel 25 years ago or so. And then Holy Cross got in, about 10, 12 years ago. Good move on their part.
Yeah.
And theirs are displayed very nicely when you walk into their building, which houses the gym. It's very nice there. Mm-hmm. And I like it. But the point is that, this sport doesn't get the attention, and maybe it's younger in terms of overall. But look, we both bowled in the prep league back in the day, and it didn't get any attention then.
No, well, it was a handicap league at that point.
Right. And we give it attention now, and to see a bowler get inducted into a Hall of Fame was really great to see.
No doubt.
And to see a coach get into a Hall of Fame like Denise, that was really great to see. The sport getting some recognition. Look, you and I both serve on the Sugar Bowl committee, and back in the day, Noble got an Amateur Athlete of the Month award, which was pretty hard to get when you're competing with people in all other sports. Sure. But he's a really good bowler.
Yeah, and 3 years ago, Brother Martin's team, after that unbelievable win over Catholic High in the championship, one of them we had the pleasure to bring to you here, was honored as the boys prep team of the year. Yeah.
Yep. And again, that doesn't come easily. I mean, when people see that, they need to understand they're competing with every other high school sport, boys and girls, and intercollegiate as well, because it's amateur athletics. So it's hard to pick one. Some months it's impossible because there's as many as 10 that deserve it. Other months maybe a little bit leaner, especially when you get into the summer months when not much is going on. But to see bowlers get honored and coaches get honored is great, and that just tells you about the sport itself. We're in Game 3, and scanning across the board, Jesuit is, let's see, Brother Martin is up in 2 out of 3 on the low pair right now. And on the high pair, it is Brother Martin up in all 3. So it's academic.
Yeah, just a matter of what the final score is going to be. And that's one of the unique things about bowling, and that there is no clock.
No.
We know it's 3 games, and the way the format is set up is you've got the ability, because there's 16 points at stake in the first 2 games, and it takes 14 to win, that you've got a chance to clinch the match in 2.
We had a spirited crowd earlier.
Some have left. Yeah.
Some have left, and the outcome's been decided. And even now, they're not screaming and yelling very much because the outcome's been decided. There's no more drama here, but you're still pulling hard. That's a good shot. Bad result for Averill. One pin collided with the other, preventing it from taking out the 7. Joe made a ball change this game. It's not worked out well for him at all. But he's just trying something. They have nothing to lose at this point. Now, I will say he is shooting for high average, so definitely won't help his cause having a lower game here per se.
As you look at some of the averages around the state, one of the things that was interesting to me this year as you take a look at those averages. That involves me bringing up the right document on my laptop here to be able to tell you exactly what that is. All right. Is on the boys' side as of, I guess, Monday. I had all the scores through last week. Most years when we've done this, and we've sat down and talked about it, it was between maybe 15 and 20, maybe in the low 20s, the number of bowlers in the state that are averaging 200. As of this week, Ken, there are 41 bowlers averaging 200 in Louisiana.
41.
The scores are just higher. And again, mentioned there's been 6 300 games already this year. Right now, you have the season ended based on the data we have. The cut to make singles in the top 80 would be 186. I think it was 185 a year ago. So very similar type numbers. Same thing on the girls' side. It's going to probably be in the mid 140s to make the cut on the girls' side, and they take 48 of them. So that's kind of what you're looking at here, especially if you're one of those bowlers that's sitting there on the bubble. You want to make sure you finish strong to be on the right side of the bubble to be able to compete in the singles championship.
Well, Rusty, looking at Game 3, the focus right now would be on the 3 spot for both teams. Tyler Nunez and Nicholas Womble both are bowling well. Both have triples on the board right now. Yep. Womble with a slight lead in the match, but both have triples, and so that's the one match that looks interesting at this point with bowlers bowling pretty well. Yep. It's a real struggle for Jesuit on the high pair in this game. They're better bowlers struggling.
Brother Martin has not had a bowler shoot 700 this year.
That's interesting.
And here's why. Because with all of these matches in, you're taking a lot of your starters out. Now, Brother Martin has 12 bowlers. You can only activate 10 for a match, and a nice conversion on the 2-4-10 there by Sheldon Bruno getting a chance to bowl here in Game 3. So that's what happens a lot of times. Now you're sitting there, Nunez 247, 245. He's got 3 in a row here, working at the moment what would be a 206 pace. So he's got a chance to possibly jump up in there. Throws a couple more strikes. There's Balfour, the new addition to this roster, up on lane 53 right now, and he's the one freshman. He's got a chance to kind of carry the torch a little bit, going forward down the road.
Mufkin doubles. Brother Martin leading all 3 matches on the high pair. Really trending toward a blowout win, frankly.
Yep.
You can see the difference. Ball reacting more for everyone as we get to the third game.
Sure. Obviously the transition, the oil dries, it moves, it does a lot of things, and you've got to be able to adjust for that. And it never does it the same way because you've got different bowlers that are bowling at any given time, whether you're depending on the opponents you have, where they're playing on the lane, all of the different factors that go into the types of adjustments you need to make, whether it's changing your line, changing equipment. We talked about back in the day, you might even change your ball speed. Choley's a 4-pin, made a good shot there. It's unbelievable. All the strikes he threw early on, he has not struck here in Game 3.
What kind of vehicle do we want to drive?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we need to talk about that. Thank you. That's today's coverage on Crescent City Sports, brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the #1 Ford dealer in the Metro New Orleans market. As Ronnie likes to say, must be a reason.
Must be. And visited with him earlier this week. In good form as always. Joke telling.
Just down the road. You can stop into Lamarck about 2 minutes here from Bolero.
We used to see the GM Ray Hoffman over here quite a bit when his son bowled at Archbishop Brummel, and enjoyed him. So we have and love Ray. He does a great job there, and we appreciate all of our good and great friends, Ronnie Jr., the entire crew, and always good to see Timmy and his $1 million outfits that he wears on a daily basis. So. And make sure he lets us know. Not a hair out of place, the whole deal. So it's all good. Good people. We are in the 9th frame on the high pair, 8th frame on the low pair. As we get closer to the end here, it's all about the final margin in this one. And we'll see how that manifests itself. And by the way, we We have headsets, so maybe we'll get a winning coach over here to visit with you.
Yeah, I'm going to see if we can bring Bruce Himbert over. Even before, I was even going to try and get him over before the finish here.
Yeah, I don't think he's not too concerned right now.
He's providing encouraging words to both sides right now. That's the thing. And that's the thing. Let me tell you, we've seen this match. We've seen this match time and time again. Mm-hmm. These guys are all friends. They bowled together. A lot of them went to grammar school together. So they know each other. The other part of it is, they understand. They have been the most consistent programs over the last few years. You throw Rummel into that loop as well as Vollenweider falls down at the line. Did not foul.
No,
that's happened before. That was an issue in the semifinals last year.
Mm-hmm.
We thought there was a foul. The light didn't go off. Because the light didn't go off, it wasn't a foul was not called.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we also, since we talk bowling and we promote Crescent City Sports, where you're watching this today, hey, we've got a bowler contributing now on our website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too.
Speaking of Rummel's team, Blake Kerr, who actually contributed a bowling story for us earlier this year. He got a chance to bowl in that Super Bowl event that was held here at Bolero, hosted by the BPAA, with a lot of great NFL players here. It was a terrific event, and they made it easy for him. They went they gave him strikes the last two games, 3rd, 6th, and 9th, and I think went 9-pin no tap or 8-pin no tap. I think somebody shot 900, if I'm not mistaken. So
that was my unofficial 300 game. I say that all the time. I got credit for 3. I didn't get credit for the other one because it came in the Women's Pro Bowlers Tour event here at this bowling center, and it was the Pro-Am, and it was a no-tap format. And I'm bowling with Jeannie Maiden, and I threw 12 real strikes. And, of course, it was a Pro-Am, so it didn't count. It was a non-sanctioned situation, and it was a no-tap. But it's like, hey, I threw 12 real strikes. Did you notice? Yeah, I did. And then I went to Wendy's. So that was it. That's my memory of that. But the other memory I have of that is real simple. Jeannie was a great bowler, of course, and her husband owned the AAA baseball team in Tacoma. And she wanted to know after. She said, I want to know what kind of equipment you're using there, because she was trying to get every advantage imaginable. And I laughed. I said, you don't want to copy my game. She said, no, I just want to know about the equipment. It was funny. So I really enjoyed that. It was pretty good. She was a nice person, good bowler. We had many pro events in this bowling center over the years. Unfortunately, we don't have a major event here anymore.
Yeah,
PBA,
it would be nice. The landscape of pro bowling has changed, and you don't. Nothing really even comes to the south anymore. It's not even a question of, they're just going to a different house or whatever. There's not even regional events in Louisiana. So it's
no, it was great.
So I guess the drama at this point is now is going to be the final total, but 2, can Tyler Nunez throw a couple of?
It's a spare for Vollenweider, which clinches his match. So Brother Martin wins at 4. Brother Martin wins at 5. Brother Martin's going to win at 6. Brother Martin is going to win at 1. And at 2, it's open,
3,
open match, and so is 3. 2 and 3 are still open matches.
I think three's pretty much in command at this point. It's an outside chance.
Jesuit wins at 3. So Jesuit's got 3. Well, look at Gary's laughing because he finally found a triplet. Took him all day, and he finally found one.
Had the turkey wing there going. Averill is going to finish up here, a spare, and if he can convert an opportunity to chopped it, he's still going to win his match. 174.
So Jesuit will win at 3.
It can win at 3 and 2. Neither one of them. They're going to go to the 10th frame in both of them here.
2 has a shot.
And it looks like that strike probably closed out 1 for Brother Martin now.
Garing's like, I'm carrying now. That's right. Yeah, why not? 4 straight now. Why not indeed? So we march toward the conclusion here. And seeing if Garing can finish up with a 5th consecutive strike as he tries to shoot 202 here. Of course, everybody kind of laughing now with the outcome long since decided. And the kids talking and having a good time with each other at this point, with the drama having long since gone out of it. Bruce Imbert, my lifetime friend.
Hello, Mr. Trahan. How are you?
Coach of Brother Martin joining us now. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Feeling great.
I guess. Doing all right, huh?
Really a nice end to this season. I mean, until playoffs, let's put it that way.
Well, it certainly appears to be a top 2 seed as a result. And,
yeah.
And that's the goal. You want to be top 2 for sure. So
that's exactly what I wanted.
Put yourself in position to be. Now, where you end up in terms of bracket potential is another story. You can't control that, as we've learned in recent years. What you can't control is what you've done here today. Yeah. You put your foot on the pedal and never let up. And that, a 6-2 edge, 103 after one game. All right, well, we're in pretty good shape, but to cement that you needed a good game 2. You not only win game 2, you sweep it put it away. That's impressive. Talk about that.
Well, these guys have been doing this all year, Kenny. I mean, we've won every match this season by the end of the second game, except for the John Curtis match, which we had 13-3 going into the third game, but we also had 350-pin lead. So basically that was over. So these guys have done this the whole season. It didn't surprise me. We went against Rummel, and they came out and did it. They go today and just say it's in their mindset right now. I've got a bunch of kids that love each other. It's unbelievable how much these kids care for each other and want to see everybody succeed. Like this game here, I said, I'm going to leave the seniors in. I'll take 3 guys out. And everybody said, no, you take 2 and leave Tyler in. He's got a shot at shooting 700.
Yeah.
None of these kids this whole season even asked to stay in. I mean, you know how we have been. We've always tried to shoot big scores. Well, this year, if you look, this might be the biggest set we have the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, speaking of Tyler, 492 coming in. He's got to strike if he wants to shoot 700.
Right.
He needs this one and one more, and it's my fault.
No, it's not your fault.
It's all good.
He told me he wanted to come out, and the guy said, no, you're not. You're in the bowl.
All right. So. Well, speaking of which, look, it's a team effort, and we've said all along what separates your team from the other good teams, and make no mistake, Jesuit's a good team.
Yes, they are.
So is Slidell, so is Rummel locally, but what separates your team is the ability to make spares and consistency 1 through 6. And when you look at 1 through 3 today, that's it. Ball game. End of story. Game over. That's it. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
Nick Bruno, 214, 214. Blake Hebert, 212, 200. Tyler Nunez, 247, 245. Guys that average 186, 193, and 195 respectively. Game over. I mean, when your low pair shoots like that consistently, you can't lose.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
When we bowled the other day against Prairieville and Gonzales, we shot 34-80 and missed 35 spares.
And that's not something that you do.
And I told them we need to make spares to beat this team, and I don't think we missed 5 or 6 spares in the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
They did what they needed to do, and they felt good about it. So these guys deserve it. And then they had their biggest cheerleader out here in Jacob Van Gilder. And I'll keep him around as long as he wants to keep coming around and being a cheerleader for me. He's incredible.
I loved his program, loved his school, and
yes, he does.
A big contributor, and
we love him.
There you go. And
we love him.
Happy to be back. He gets spring break. He comes to a bowling match.
Yeah, really.
So it's all good. So all good. But Bruce, again, you move forward from here.
Yes, sir.
And you know where you're at now, what you're going to have. You're going to be a top 2 seed.
Right.
You just wait for the pairings. Your program and your team have so much experience that you don't worry about it. You just, whatever they put in front of you, they put in front of you.
Whatever they put us, they put us. I mean,
you'd like to see somebody different, but every year, one way or the other, you run into Jesuit or Rummel. Or both, and it's like almost inevitable.
Right.
From our perspective, we hope and pray it doesn't happen because we pull for our local schools and want them all to get there.
Let me tell you, I would love to see Todd get to the Final Four because he has worked hard with these kids.
He's a good man.
He's got a great bunch of kids, too. Let me tell you, all of those kids out there, class acts, they give you everything you can ask for. So, I mean, these guys are good kids, and they deserve to be there. And unfortunately, Todd's looking really down next year. He's only got 2 players coming back. and he's losing all but 2 players, and he don't even know if he's going to be able to field the team. So,
well, he's a good coach, a good man. He works these kids. He cares about the sport.
Yes, he does.
And we have coaches as compared to moderators. He's a coach,
yes,
as you are, and that certainly makes a big difference. So, Lenny and I talked about it earlier, but you have a kid bowling in the 6th spot that might be the most improved guy we've seen this year.
Yes, sir.
He went from being a fringe starter to being your 6th, to being your anchor guy.
He was a number 1 last year in the playoffs. He was number 1. And he's been number 6 basically almost the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
And he has just given his heart and his soul to Brother Martin Bowling. He's been with me since a freshman. And let me tell you, he has grown every year. And the only negative I'm going to say about Peyton Averill is that he's too tough on himself. He'll throw a 5-bag or walk back and say, what did I do wrong in that shot? It wasn't perfect. Well, you know what? They don't have to be perfect all the time. And he's tough on himself, and that's the biggest thing. But, I mean, you see those guys right now, they're all out there talking, and they're talking amongst themselves, and they don't need me over there to say anything to pump them up at all. They've got their game. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, we take a look at them. There they are having fun.
Yep.
Just talking it over. They got some guy in a white shirt talking to him. What's he, a coach now or what, man?
Jack. The Van Gilda kid.
Jacob, yeah.
And then we have the Nunez kid. Both of them bowl for us.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they're around all the time.
Keep the tradition going. Huh? Don't mess things up. Dudes, don't mess it up for us. We put this out there, so it's all good. Lenny and I were talking. We're having fun. Look, we're happy because this sport is, and we think we've played a role in this. The sport's getting the attention that it deserers. We've worked really hard. That was my desire when I started this website. We wanted to cover bowling and give it that push, and I think we've helped. And even this year, Lenny and I talked about, we got Denise Vidros being honored, going into Archbishop Shaw's Hall of Fame, and we inducted Charles Noble into Archbishop Rummel's Hall of Fame.
Yes,
so
sir.
The sport finally gets a little bit of recognition. The only negative I would tell you is what Lenny said, which is, get those Wisniewski, get them up off their rear ends and get in Hall of Fame at Brother Mark. Come on, man.
Hey,
what are we doing here, man?
Somebody needs
Bowling
to talk
would have to
to
be
him.
at the front of the line, right?
Somebody talk to him. I'm not all against it. I promise you.
I'll give him and Ryan a nudge about
there
it.
You go.
They got all those crazy wooden banners in the gym. You can't even read them.
Right.
But it's like they got them plastered everywhere, man.
Chappelle just won 26-1 today,
I was going to say.
Not
well, we talked about him. That's not unusual. Talked about him during the webcast today, and clearly it's a 2-team race there, it looks like, statewide. And last year they came up just short. I think the second time around they got a great shot.
They got a great shot this year.
They do. So, and I know you're proud of that team and proud of that,
I'm very proud
that
of
coach, whatever her name is. So.
Dorothy's done a wonderful job.
Yeah, she has.
She, those kids listen to her, and they do a great job over there too. So.
Hey, before we let it go, maybe I'll let Lenny get a word with you or two. I think
sure, why not?
You got to
have Mr. Van Gilder.
No, you got to have balance. As much as we don't like it, you got to let a left-hander into this conversation too.
And
so it's all good, huh?
This was a tough year. I didn't have him around the whole year, basically.
I think what you proved this year is you didn't need me. So it's a
that's all right.
No, exactly.
I'll never ever say I didn't need you.
So, the one thing that we were talking about coming in early in the match, and you got into it, that you've dominated everything through 2 games, is if it got to a third game and it was 8-8. How would your young men respond being in a tight situation when you haven't experienced it the entire year?
That's
they've
what I'm
had
scared
3 or
of.
4 tough matches. Now, you can do what you can to try to replicate it, certainly. You scrimmage, you do whatever you can. Now, obviously, now you've got 19 days, because this was your last regular season match, before you start the playoffs out here on April 1st.
Yep.
And, that's a lot of time. I know you've experienced about everything and how schedules work and things like that. What will you do between now and April 1st, try to keep your guys sharp?
Probably just practice at least once a week. These kids, they come out on Sunday and practice on their own. They're over there every Sunday. I have most of the team there, but they come out and do a good job. They practice. No coach involved because we can't do it on Sunday, but it's fun to watch them go out there. And they just they just like each other so much. Like right now, I know they're probably getting ready to ask me, "You coming to dinner with us? Where are we going?" You know, but I got too much to do, unfortunately.
There you go. You got a lot. You got a lot to balance with the national tournament in Baton Rouge. I know you're back and forth.
Yes.
Going up there, so I gotta let you go run up there. What they're bowling until 2:00 in the morning, right? Yeah. So. All right. Well, congratulations on another. What? That's you lose count of these things. The one thing I'll throw this one stat out there that we did not get in is Bruce goes to visit with his guys since 2014. So we're talking 12 seasons. Bruce Himmert's Brother Martin program is 181-6. JT Curtis would be jealous of that record, and he's won a few games in his own right, but that's crazy good there. 181-6.
It doesn't help when you have kids that want to do it and they're talented and listen.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the big thing about the whole thing.
Bruce, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Lenny.
Congratulations.
Kenny, than't you, sir. We'll see you later.
We'll get that Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There you go. All right, Bruce Himbert, the Brother Martin coach. Brother Martin wins it. We had it wrong there for a second. The final was 21-6, not 23-4. 21-6. Jesuit actually, with that missed spare in the 10th frame by Nunez, actually eked out total pins in the last game. So 21-6 is the final. They ended up splitting the 8 points in Game 3. And, of course, Brother Martin captured super total. I think the number I saw, they had 36.95, I believe it was, which is a season high for them. They had not shot 3,600 all year, but 36.95. All in all, look, we expected this to be tight. It wasn't. Doesn't that happen sometimes? I mean, even with the Super Bowl this year, we thought was going to be a great game. It was basically a toss-up game as they looked at it. And what happens? The Eagles jumped out 34-0. So those kind of things do happen. You still got to go out and bowl and perform.
Yeah, we're disappointed that it wasn't as competitive as we expected, but make no apologies for the performance by a terrific program. Brother Martin Bowling and Bruce Himbert and the job that he's done over an extended period of time. I want to thank Todd Bourgeois as well for his always gentlemanly cooperation and help in providing us with what we need.
Certainly Brenton Dupuy here, Bolero
Brenton Dupuy, as we mentioned earlier, here at Bolero. Thank you, Brenton. Great to see Scott Bain's father representing Jesuit Athletics here today. Mark Wisniewski here, the athletic director at Brother Martin. Both great guys, great coaches, and appreciate them very much, too. Two storied schools and great programs, and a pleasure bringing it to you today. Of course, we'll have the pleasure of bringing state championships to you.
Yeah, that's April. Let's show you that before we get out the door, because that's one thing we did not look at the schedule the rest of the way. There's one more week of the regular season. The brackets get announced a week from Monday, and then we get into the early rounds the week of March 31st. Here at Bolero Kenner, you can watch the Division I first and second round matches. Brother Martin will be here. Jesuit will be here. Rummel will be here. Hopefully another area team might pop in. Certainly Slidell will come from the North Shore. Maybe one other in there. And then the boys Division II and the girls are taking place in Lafayette this year during that week. And then we get to the Final Four in all three brackets, and that will be April 9th and 10th at Premier Lanes in Gonzales once again. And then we wrap it all up on April 11th with the singles finals. And now with that stepladder format, that's been a lot of fun the last couple of years to be able to bring that to you, of course, at All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge. Those last 3 days, you can watch them all right here on Crescent City Sports.
And we appreciate the LHSA for partnering with us again and allowing us to be a big part of that and bringing that to you. And, of course, April 1st here with the boys regionals taking place. We'll have coverage of that, and I'm not fooling.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Well done.
Okay.
Well done.
I hope that you enjoy this. I certainly did. I know Matt Merritt enjoyed this today. It's cool. It's easy. Instead of sitting outside and sweating or dealing with rain or anything else, he's sitting in a nice, cool bowling center.
There you go.
Handling these duties here today. Thank you, Matt. And thanks to all watching and listening here this afternoon as well. Thanks for joining us. Our next broadcast comes up tomorrow night. You don't have to wait very long. From John Ryan Stadium, we have our baseball schedule starting for the spring. Many games to come, and we got quite a doozy to get you started. Doozy, where'd I get that from? Whatever. Catholic League matchup between Archbishop Rummel and Jesuit. Talked about that earlier, and what a special matchup that is and great rivalry it is. It'll be a great crowd, and we expect a very good game as always. Our coverage begins at 6:15 simulcast with 106.1 The Ticket, with Kirk Bollinger and Danny Ream joining me for our Crescent City Sports Production team, and for my friend Lenny Van Gilder, Ken Trahan saying so long from Kenner once again. Brother Martin a winner by the score of 21-6. Thanks for joining us. Be a good sport, and God bless you one and all. We are rounding third and heading home.